Nadine Gordimer was one of the most important writers and thinkers of the 20th century. Born in 1923 and living until 2014, she spent her long life using words to fight against apartheid, which was the system of racial segregation and oppression in South Africa. In 1991, she won the Nobel Prize in Literature, the highest honor a writer can receive, because the stories were seen as a great benefit to humanity. Today, we are going to look at how a quiet girl from a small mining town became a global voice for justice. To understand Gordimer, we have to start with her childhood in a place called Springs, near Johannesburg. As a young girl, she did not have a typical childhood. Her mother claimed Nadine had a weak heart and kept her home from school for a long time. Because she was homebound and often alone, she became a very observant person. She started watching the world closely and began writing the stories when she was only 13 years old. By the time she was 16, her work was already being published in magazines. Her parents also gave her a unique perspective on the world. Her father was a Jewish immigrant who had fled from Russia to escape trouble there, and her mother was British Jewish. Her mother even started from a nursery for black children, which was a very bold thing to do at the time. These two different views, fleeing from interesting and trying to fix it, helped Gordimer to decide what kind of person she wanted to be. A major turning point happened when she was a teenager. One day, the police raided her family home. They weren't looking for her or her parents. They were there to take the private letters and diaries of a family servant. Seeing the state violence and invasion of someone's private life just because of their race stayed with her forever and became a main theme in her books. In 1948, she moved to Johannesburg, and it was a huge step because she went to university where for the first time she crossed the color bar and made friends with people of all races. It became part of the Sophiatown Renaissance, a vibrant group of artists and writers from different backgrounds. This community taught that a government's load, they don't just control politics. They corrupt human relationships and make it hard for people to truly know one another. Gordimer brought many famous books that showed the world the moral mess of Upper Clyde. Let's look at three of her most important novels. First of all, The Conservationist, 1974. This work won the Booker Prize. It is about a wealthy white farmer who finds a dead boy on his land. The body is of a black man that no one can identify. Gordimer used these MTA for a symbol to show that the entire system of apartheid was built on the bodies and lives of the people it oppressed. A very famous work is also Burger's Daughter, 1979. This novel was actually banned by the government. It tells the story of a girl named Rosa Burger, who has to deal with the legacy of her father, a famous revolutionary leader. It explores the difficult choice between having a private, happy life and committing oneself to a political struggle. And Lies People, 1981. This book imagines what would happen if a violent revolution broke out in South Africa. A white family has to run away and hide in the village of their black servant, July. It shows how the rules of power are suddenly reversed and how privilege is actually very fragile. Gordimer wasn't just a writer, she was also a brave activist. After a terrible event called the Sharpeville Massacre in 1960, where many peaceful protesters were killed, she decided she couldn't just sit back. She joined the African National Congress, which was a banned group at the time. She even hid political leaders in her home to keep them from being arrested. She was a close friend to many leaders of the movement. She actually helped Nelson Mandela with his famous speech, the I Am Prepared to Die speech back in 1964. Later, in 1986, she testified in court for 22 activists who were on a trial for treason. She called the day the proudest day of her life. Because she spoke the truth, the government tried to silence her. Many of her books were banned for years. In 2001, even after apartheid is ended, some people tried to take July's people out of school because they called it racist, an accusation she found very insulting. But she never changed her message to please the people in power. In her personal life, she was a woman of strong values. She was married twice and had 2 children. Even though she was raised Jewish, she called herself an atheist, but she said she had a religious temperament. This meant she felt a deep, holy responsibility to do what was right. She lived in the same house in Johannesburg for over 50 years. She refused to move away even after she was robbed in 2006 because she didn't want to be cut off from the place she loved. She had a very important message for all of us. People often asked if she was an activist because she was Jewish, but she said that was wrong. She believed that all decent people, no matter what religion, race they are, have an equal responsibility to fight was it evil. So she believed you don't have to be a victim of a problem if you want to help fix it. She passed away peacefully in 2014 at the age of 90. Even at the very end of her life, she was still fighting for human rights, speaking about things like AIDS and freedom of the press. As stories continue to be read today, because they remind us that even in the darkest time, one person's voice can shine a light on the truth.